What do you want to be when you grow up?
What?
So what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm not talking about, you know, like a cowboy or a spaceship or a fire engine. I'm, you know, doctor, lawyer, farmer, custodian. What do you want to be when you grow up?
I'm 5.
So what you just saw there with my son was an illustration. Ideally, I would like to have him maybe in a, you know, in a small room, nothing on the walls, nothing on the floor, just a little school desk in a corner, and ask him those questions. But the point is, you know, from a very young age, you're asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? And I've gotten to the point in my life where my answer to that is no. No. And what I mean by that is, we're almost taught and trained that your identity, your worth, your value as a person is going to come down on what you do for a living. That's your whole purpose in life. You know, nobody's asking a little boy or a little girl like, hey, how good of a father do you want to be when you grow up? Or how good of a mother do you want to be when you grow up? Or how good of a wife do you want to be? How good of a husband do you want to be? Those type of things. Things that are a weightier matter that probably, in the long run, should matter a lot more to people than what they do for a living. I mean, if you think about it, your job, you know, would last from about the time that you're, you know, late teens to 20s or so, until you're way up in, you know, about 60 or so, you know, 60, 65, something like that. That's kind of the way the American dream jobs work these days. Ideally, if you're going to actually be in a relationship, it should be for longer than that. I mean, ideally, you know, it should be something you find, you know, your soulmate, the love of your life, whatever you want to call it, and then till death do you part. So the reason that I answer this question no is whatever I do to provide an income for my family is going to come, it's not going to be the top 3. You see, the top 3, well, 2 of the top 3 are who I am to my wife as a husband and who I am to my children as a father. That's where it starts. And the reason it starts there is because of my first identity as a believer, as one of God's children. So because of his call on my life and because of my relationship with him, then I'm going to focus on my marriage and my parenting in a way that I normally otherwise wouldn't. So who I am to God, who I am to my wife, and who I am to my children are my top 3 identities. Whatever I do, whether it's cleaning toilets or running a business or flying around in my private jet while I do some job, whatever, it doesn't matter. You know, if I'm pumping gas or checking out people at the, you know, the dollar store, it doesn't matter. That's not my identity. But from a very young age, you're asking 5-year-olds, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know, and they say stuff like, a spaceship, a cowboy, you know, other things. You know, they're 5. But the problem is that the education system is actually kind of ruled over by the Labor Department. And it's pretty much teaching and training people to be a spoke in their wheel. Which niche in our society, in our economy do you want to fill? Which slot do you want us to file you in for the vast majority of your good years of life down here? And to me, like, I don't want to be a spoke in the wheel because I took a step back and that wheel is just one wheel on a vehicle that I don't even like the direction it's heading. You know what I mean? I don't even like the direction the vehicle's driving. Why do I want to be a spoke in that wheel? So, to me, to sit there and focus, especially, you know, on children, what do you want to be when you grow up? Yeah, I just say no. Because whatever I do or don't do to make money for my family is not my primary identity. It's not even one of the top 3. And you can, I mean, if all you want in life is to be a veterinarian and that's your goal and that's all you want, fine, go ahead. But when you retire, don't be completely sad and destroyed. You know, just don't. I think that there's just more important things that we are not focused on because from a very early age, nobody's asking about what type of integrity you want to have when you grow up, what type of morality you want to have when you grow up, if you want to be a man or a woman of your word, if you want people to believe you, when you say something, if you want to be virtuous, if you want to be somebody that people call upon in times of need because they know you're generous, you're helpful, you're responsible, you're capable, you're equipped to function in a variety of things. That's not the focus anymore. So it all adds to part of the moral decay of society. It all adds to the destruction of the family. It all adds to all of that. And, you know, by the time people graduate either high school or college, you know, for the most part, raising the next generation as a parent or having an actual relationship that lasts is something they haven't gotten any instruction or training in. They've gotten all sorts of philosophy and psychology and, you know, other stuff, sociology, and they're able to, you know, function as an accountant or function as whatever, you know, little slot they decided they want to be filed in. But then their lives are messes because they're not focusing on the things that are actually important. And not everyone, you know, wants to focus on God and family. I get that. They can focus on, you know, evolutionism and individualism and just be a over-mutated monkey that lives for itself. That's fine. If people want to choose that, they're free to do so. And I'm not going to force them not to. I'm just saying that for the rest of us out there, maybe it's time that we said no. Maybe it's time that when we get posed the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? We say no. You know what I want to be? I want to be a godly husband and father. That's what I want to be when I grow up. So that's going to be my focus. That's going to be my aim, and that's going to be what I'm personally working on. All right. Hopefully that is worth it for some of you to sit through it. Papa out. You only learned how to do that a little bit ago, right? No training wheels? Off on your own in the big world? Personally, that's worth more than a paycheck to me. Just is. Worth more than a, you know, Dr. Papa Pepper. Dr. Pepper. Worth more than any of that.
As always, I'm Papa Pepper, and I'd like to remind you, don't post for free. If you'd like to be part of a revolution in social media, an economic power to the people where users can actually blog for cryptocurrency, then I'd recommend that you check out steemit.com and join the revolution. Papa out.